And then let's send off Hagar and the other one, the bastard. Let's call him the bastard, just for short. Let's say it's the slave and the bastard, and they'll go wander in the desert. Abraham's not like, but I'll miss him, and I'll miss Hagar. You know, we had some time together. I don't know if I really want to send her wandering in the desert. This just doesn't seem nice. And we're back to Joel Reads Bible. I'm Joel, and I'm reading Bible. I'm reading the New International Version of the Bible, the most popular if you Google it. I'm reading it from the very beginning to the very end. And a lot has happened. If you want to know what's happened, go back to episode 1. I read it and look at it at face value and say, wow. That's what I say. Wow. Wow. What a book. So let's get into it. Genesis chapter 21. Now the Lord was gracious to Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised, which was to give her a baby. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age, at the very time God had promised him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah had bore him. When his son Isaac was 8 days old, Abraham circumcised him, as God commanded him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Sarah said, God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. And she added, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. I just feel bad for her back because she would have to just bend over so far to try to get Isaac to the nipple, which I'm sure is by her belly button at this point. It just might be, it's like, how do I hold the baby so low? You know what I mean? But yes, I think she's absolutely right that anybody who hears this story will find it laughable that somebody in their 90s had a baby and then nursed that baby. But I'm very happy for Sarah. She got what she wanted. Abraham now has an heir that can be seen as legitimate and not just some kid that nobody cares about or everybody kind of hates that was born to one of their slaves or maidservants, which we are going to hear about right now. The child grew and was weaned, and on the day Isaac was weaned, Abraham held a great feast, so that Isaac could eat it. He's like, what? He's off the tit? All right, let's get him some steak. But Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar, the Egyptian, had borne to Abraham was mocking, and she said to Abraham, get rid of the slave woman and her son, for that slave woman's son will never share in an inheritance with my son Isaac. It's very good to know at this point that we're not hiding slave anymore. Hagar was one of the slaves that was given to Abraham when he pimped out his wife in Egypt. I've seen movies where people had slaves in America, and those men are often seen as the bad guys. They're seen as the wicked ones. Now, I don't know if the culture was so different that we can just all agree that slavery in those days was not wicked. I don't know what to believe. But now, this kid, his name's Ishmael, he's mocking the little baby. I don't know how he's mocking the little baby, but Sarah's not impressed. And she's like, get rid of him. I never liked that slave woman anyway. I suggested that you make a baby with her. That was my idea, Sarah. But now that it's happened and I don't really like the kid, get that slave woman out of here. She's not even using the name anymore. She's really dehumanizing Hagar. She's going, get that Egyptian slave. She doesn't say Egyptian. Get that slave woman out of here and that slave son. They're never getting your money, buddy. The matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. Which one? It should be plural. It concerned both of his sons, Ishmael and Isaac, his older son Ishmael and his younger son Isaac. It concerned people. It concerned humans. It concerned people that you would think maybe someone might have a relationship with. Did Abraham interact with Ishmael? Did you interact with your slave sons? Or did you only interact with your I married that one's sons? What was the culture there? I think you will notice when we move forward that children and family and all those things are akin to livestock and possessions more than people that you have a relationship with. But God said to him, "Do not be so distressed about the boy and your maidservant." Okay, they are talking about Ishmael. "Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned." I also don't care about Ishmael, says God. He's not important. Don't worry about him. I will make the son of the maidservant into a nation also, because he's your offspring. Early the next morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave them to Hagar. He set them on her shoulders. It's a big skin of water. And then sent her off with the boy. She went on her way and wandered in the desert of Beersheba. Don't worry, God says. I'll take care of the other kid. You just worry about Isaac, because he's going to get the inheritance. That's all that matters. And then let's send off Hagar and the other one, the bastard. Let's call him the bastard, just for short. Let's say it's the slave and the bastard, and they'll go wander in the desert. Abraham's not like, but I'll miss him, and I'll miss Hagar. We had a moment, we had some time together. I don't know if I really want to send her wandering in the desert. This just doesn't seem nice. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Then she went off and sat down nearby, about a bow shot away, for she thought, I cannot watch the boy die. And as she sat there nearby, she began to sob. God heard the boy crying. Oh, he was crying too. And the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What's the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation." This is the second time God's talking to Hagar in the desert. She must be like, why didn't you talk to me before I had sex with Abraham? Maybe you could have said at that time, don't do it, because you are going to suffer for it. He only interferes later. It's like, I'm not going to let you guys die. But what I could have done is not let Ishmael be born and not let Hagar suffer and send her away ahead of time instead of letting her run away, sending her back, getting her kicked out of the family, and then she runs out of water. Well, he's going to save her in the 9th hour. Makes for a great story, doesn't make for a great God, in my humble opinion. Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. So she went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. Problem solved. God was with the boy as he grew up. He lived in the desert and became an archer. Well, that's neat, because she was a bow's shot away from him, so that's convenient. As he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. Why don't they just go and stay in Egypt? He's like, she'll be right back. Gonna go get a wife for you. So these are the Egyptians. They are villains. They are lesser. We do not like them as much as we like Abraham and the Hebrewness of Abraham. At that time, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, said to Abraham, God is with you in everything you do. All the lying, all the pimping. I keep on bringing back the pimping because, all the slave owning, God is with you in everything you do. Now swear to me here before God that you will not deal falsely with me or my children or my descendants anymore. Show me in the country where you are living as an alien the same kindness I have shown you. Abraham said, I swear it. He probably didn't cross his fingers. I don't even know if finger crossing was a thing back then. Then Abraham complained to Abimelech about the well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized. Oh, what's this new development? But Abimelech said, I don't know who has done this. You did not tell me, and I heard about it only today. Yeah, this is the first time you mentioned it. This is the first time he's mentioned it to us, too. This is like a brand new information, which is perfectly fine. It's like, hey, can you stop lying to me? That's the first thing Abimelech says. Can you stop lying to me? I know you got God on your side, and I'm terrified. It's one of the things I'm scared of. But if you'll just be nice to me, we can have a good thing here. Oh, yeah, no, I swear I'll be nice. But your servant stole our well? What? That's the first time I've heard of that. Yeah, I didn't want to mention it, but now that you've asked me to not lie to you anymore, I thought I'd just bring it up. So Abraham brought sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech. Oh, he just gave back the sheep and cattle that Abimelech gave to him, I guess. And the two men made a treaty. Seems like a bit of a cheat there. Here's a gift. I'm going to keep the slaves you gave me, but I'll give you the sheep and cattle that you gave me. Truce? Abraham set apart 7 ewe lambs from the flock, and Abimelech asked Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs you have set apart by themselves? He replied, accept these 7 lambs from my hand as a witness that I dug this well. So that the place was called Beersheba, because the 2 men swore an oath there. Okay, but it was already called Beersheba because that's where Hagar was wandering in the desert. And that was just in the book before they did the swearing thing. So Abraham's just trying to get a well out of the deal, and that makes sense because you really, really need water. After the treaty had been made at Beersheba, Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of his forces, returned to the land of the Philistines. That's a bad idea. If Abimelech only knew that the nation of Israel, specifically David, was going to make things very difficult for the Philistines in the future, he might have squashed Abraham right there and then. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called upon the name of the Lord, the eternal God. And Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines for a long time. It's another episode that's fraught with bad behavior by the father of the nation of Israel. Abraham is a bad guy. For all intents and purposes, Abimelech and the Philistines, they're nice. They're treating him like gold. He's only lied to them. They're honoring God. They believe in God. They believe in God, and they believe that God is with Abraham. They're like, you've got God on your side. We are scared. There's nothing here to tell me that Abimelech is a bad guy. There's plenty here to tell me that Abraham is a bad guy. He sends away his bastard son, sends him away. He could have easily died in the desert. By any stretch of the imagination, Abraham would have assumed he would have died in the desert because it didn't take too long for them to run out of water. So Abraham is the baddie. He's not the baddie in a sexy way, but he's a bad guy, as far as I can tell. So let me know in the comments if you think Abraham was the bad guy or if you think somehow in all of this, he's actually doing it right. He's actually honorable. He's kind. He's good to people. It sounds like he's just trying to get stuff. But anyway, that's episode chapter 21. We're reading the whole Bible. So please subscribe. Join me with this journey of wild and crazy events. Next episode will be, of course, chapter 22, and I can't wait. So come on back, y'all. I'm using y'all because it's like a Southern Baptist thing, and if there's Christians watching, they'll feel comfortable with that. Talk to you soon.